Ghana's local rice revolution takes viewers through the thriving landscapes of rice farms across the country, highlighting the dynamic innovations and success stories emerging in the industry. The documentary showcases the important roles played by young farmers and processors while emphasizing the significance of local rice production for Ghana's economy. By exploring various stages of the rice value chain and promoting local consumption, this film encourages deeper engagement in the country's agricultural sector. The West African country's fertile land holds the promise of feeding the nation. Today, we dive into the stories of resilience, innovation, and national pride shaping the rice industry. We took a trip to Wasachari, one of the popular places known for rice production. We caught up with a young farmer whose experience started on a family land in 2010.
I'm in the person of Nazaindo Emmanuel from Asuchari. Currently, we are on the KIS project, that's Crop Irrigation Scheme project. But me managing my own started from 2020. So managing my own farm is just 5 years now. Yeah. Initially, I wasn't having the intention to become a rice farmer, but let me say, as at now, farming activities is generating a lot of money. So I have decided to chip in that side. Initially, I have the intention to become a bank or accountant. Yeah, because I have a degree in accounting. Yeah, no mainly to become a rice farmer.
Emmanuel shared insights on the impact of technology and investments in enhancing livelihoods and creating employment opportunities in his community.
When we started, weed control is done manually. Like you go and hire people or you yourself, you enter into the rice farm and be uprooting the weeds yourself. But as time goes on, they brought some chemical, that's selective herbicide, that when you see the weeds, when you spray, all will go. So it's making the work to become easy, and plowing too. First, you hire people to come and dig it with normal hoe. But now, due to technology, we have machines that they do all the plowing, which make the work to become easier. So now, if you just have the startup capital, the farming will be very easy for you. The packaging, let me start from the paddy care. Yeah, here we dry the paddy, then we blow the chaffs, then we weigh them. We weigh them 90 kg. That's one bag. And milling, then we move to the milling center, where they mill the rice or the dehusk. Okay, the milling side, the packaging is done per the customer requisition. Yeah, but ideally, you package them 5 kg, 10 kg, 25 kg, and 50 kg. That's the maximum, the 50 kg. Normally, it's the farmers who convey the paddy, the wet paddy, to the milling center to process. Then after that, if the farmer said, "Oh, okay, let me sell it with the husk for any a third party to process it," fine. We have people who buy with the paddy like that, and they process it per the way they like it.
Rice production in Ghana has evolved. And mostly, as you mentioned previously, rice production had stones and it wasn't well, I mean, it wasn't well graded, and also didn't have that kind of polishing that the market demanded. However, New Age Ambition Limited, currently through our Every Foods brand, we, beyond production, our farmers farm and get good yields. Now, when the farmers get good nutrition, then the paddy rice is well filled, and obviously the nutrition becomes better. Now we have a state of the art milling facility where we mill whole with the stone. Then we do color separation, or more like color sorter, where we sort out the non-white rice from the lots. Then we grade. We grade on to long grain, 75% broken, 50% broken. So now, because we have now graduated, we can now be able to base the different segments of the markets. Some individuals want long grain, so we sell our premium heavy long grain rice to them. Some also want the broken, maybe for mutu and for other processing into Tom Brown and the rest. For them, we sell the broken to them as well. Then we also have the rice bran, which animal farmers are also using as part of their feed composition and feed formulation. So I believe because of now we are in a global village, so we are taking technologies not only from Ghana, but technologies from across the world as well. And our state-of-the-art machinery that we have, indeed, is can be able to give us that rice that can be able to compete with any other imported rice. They also mentioned branding. So every long grain rice is well branded, and it's because we are growing, and then we decided to now meet the demand of the farmer and the demand of the consumer, which is they looking for well branded packages, and that's where our marketing research have also led us into having having the arguably the best branding or packaging in the country.
The labeling is done at different sites, and you bring the sacks with the labels, then you come and do the packaging here. We have people who do the labeling per what you want them to put on the sack. Yeah. So they do the labeling, they bring the sack here, then they package them 5 kg and the rest, and they sew them up. They sell them. There's an indirect way of employment to the other community members. We have printers, those who do the printing, and we have the factory who do the sack, a transparent one.
While the COVID-19 pandemic posed challenges, it also sparked innovation in the food industry, attracting investors who saw potential for long-term growth.
I'm Alex Ofer, a factory manager for Max Industries Limited. The Max Industries is currently a steady of operations, and it's into providing drying and milling services for farmers. Right, I think considering COVID, you realize that during that time, the food and beverage industries became very, very important when everybody was, I think, in lockdown. They were allowed to operate and all that. They realized that, I think it dawned on the CEO that, you will have to put this in place to also help the country in terms of these disasters. So it was doing that he gained inspiration to come out with the Max Industries, right? I think local rice has come a long way. One were the days that we used to have stones and all these things in local rice. And now we have improved seed, new method of growing, and processing. We are using state-of-the-art dryer and the milling composite mill. So currently we have a 30 metric ton dryer which uses has as a fuel to dry the rice. Then we have a capacity of about 100 tons milling rice. That's processes the rice, the dried rice. So we have, from the milling side, we have the pre-cleaner, which cleans the paddy rice, as the name implies. It cleans the paddy rice, frees it from this debris, chaff, and all that. Then it passes it on to the stoner, which takes stones, clay pebbles, other solid materials from the rice. Now, when you're harvesting rice, you can pick up clay pebbles because you got these various stones and other foreign materials, solid foreign materials. Then the stoner takes the house. So from there, we have the molar. That is what the husk the rice. It takes the husk of the rice from the kernel, and from there, spilled onto the ready separator. It separates the husk rice from the kernel. From there, passes it on to the polisher. We have the 3 polishers. We have the primary polisher, the secondary, and then the third polisher. Now, the primary polisher will first take the first coat of the bran off it. Secondary one will continue polishing to make it a bit whiter. And then it is passed on to the grader. From the grading machine, it sorts the rice into different grades. That's the long grade, the porter grade half broken, and then the very fine broke. So now the grader sends the long gray to the water polisher, the dust polisher using mist. The dust polishing using mist, like the way we have, I'll say liquid polish laboratory. That's the purpose of the water polisher. And from there, it sends it to the laser color sucker. It takes multicolored grays from the polished grays, because we are not interested in those multicolored grays. And then from there, it is passed onto the weighing and bagging unit. So based on the best SKU we are doing for that period, to set it to the weighing scale, which is electronic, and from there it is back and placed on pallet.
One significant hurdle needs to be addressed for the industry to achieve sustained growth.
And one of the challenges local rice producers face is they don't really have good distribution channels. They are not all over. So when it happens like that, yes, there's a little downtime with respect to processing or receiving raw materials from clients. Nevertheless, we sometimes do receive them, however, we are not able to process for them. The reason being that they are not having any demand for your side.
You know, this packaging, you have to wait for you to get customers before you package. If you package it and you put it down, maybe and you don't get customers to buy it, and it's there for a longer time, this maize weevil can enter, which will decrease the quality. So you have to wait for you to get customers before you package.
Every business has its own every business has its own challenges, and agri business is not alien to that. As a company, we've also have our own fair share of issues. Key among the challenges we have faced as a company is the rates of interests on credits or capital or bank loans. We are actually in a market, we are in a global village, we are competing with a market where the agricultural sector are getting loans at single digits. Unfortunately, in Ghana, loans are in excess of 20s and 30%, where it becomes very difficult for agricultural business to be able to pick such facilities and be able to produce, to compete with those who are coming with a single digit interest rate financing. The second issue is also with insurance. Like the way we have car insurance, home insurance, agricultural insurance is still in its infancy. There are some interventions with Ghana Agricultural Insurance Pool, which is no more in existence. We know some few private entities are also doing some insurance for agricultural businesses. There's a need for us to have agri insurance as a big concern, where we provide insurance to cover a lot of the activities along the value chain, especially for an agribusiness sector where we are fully relying on rain-fed or rain for agriculture. It is because we don't have enough irrigation support, neither we have enough resources to be able to go in for proper irrigation facilities to help with our production. So we rely on God to give us rain, and that is also one of the risk factors. So when we have credits, which is sorted out at very low rates, we have insurance that will provide that level of or layer of support for farmers or for agri businesses, then we believe that we are on the road of de-risking agriculture in the short to long term.
By sharing knowledge and expertise, industry players are empowering young people to become innovative entrepreneurs.
Yes, so there are opportunities for young individuals. The 72 that I mentioned, it's interesting to know that we are all young people. I think the highest band of age will be just the early part of 40, and we have a majority of the youth being under 40. So yes, there are opportunities for young individuals who have the capacity to be able to join our growing force. Additionally, individuals who might also want to farm, there's opportunity for them as well. Outgrowers, we have our production hub or production arm called Chigaba. Chigaba Ltd is an outgrower social enterprise for outgrower companies, outgrower farmers who might want to farm. they can be able to reach out to Chigaba, and Chigaba can be able to help them out. There are other individuals who are also not green-fingered. I mean, they don't want to do the agri, but they want to do agri. We have a product as well for them. They can come on board. We can always see our best. They can be able to benefit from agricultural space. We also have the new age economy, which is our newest kid on the block, where we are going to provide trainings for individuals, some for free, and those who might want in-depth analysis or in-depth appreciation can also come on board our masterclass, where we can be able to help them set up. The thing is, we are young individuals, we'll be able to achieve it, and we know we can be able to get to a lot of young individuals who have interest in agriculture to also come on board.
One of the major giants in the rice value chain, which is Aboke, I think they started, happened to see their humble beginning. They started, and now they are they've been a client of ours, and we went through thick and thin with them. And then as of now, I can say that they are producing one of the best quality of prepared rice you can have in Ghana. We try our best to make our doors open for students. Abokes, behind the brand of Nana Rice, they mostly deal with some of these young students. They sometimes bring them here, have a look at whatever is going on here. When they come, our doors are always cooking. We take them through the processes, we take them through, and they see the final product. They appreciate it.
Yeah, so as a company, we commenced 5 years ago with barely 10 staff. Currently, we have 72 individuals who we have employed here, and 50% of them being female. Now, these 72 are on new ages or in the group's payroll. Then, in terms of supports, we have tagged or directly supported over 16,000 farmers who, by extension, have also reached out to over 60,000 individuals who have also been engaged along these value chains that we've been undertaking. When it comes to tonnage of rice, we have contributed every year on year. We produce, this year we intend to produce 10,000 metric tons of rice on the market. Last year, we did just barely 4,000 metric tons of rice. This year we are doing 10,000 of rice on the market. And going forward, we are planning on doing, we're exceeding it in our next production year.
When it comes to rice, it is a very important crop in Ghana at the moment. It didn't used to be, but consistently, as we urbanize, our eating patterns change. We always want something convenient to eat. So rice has become a convenient food for the Ghanaian population. And we are over 50% urbanized. So if you look at the grains when it comes to our food, maize is number one. We actually need to produce about 6 million metric tons of maize every year if we can meet our needs. In fact, over 6 million metric tons, because beyond what we eat for banku, cocoa, etel, and kenke and all those things, you also need maize to process all those processed foods by the big manufacturers like Unilever and all those companies. And then you need maize as a main component in animal feed, especially poultry feed. The poultry feed usually would have about 60 to 70% maize making the bulk of the food. So maize is very important. Then comes rice. Rice has gradually grown to be number 2 when it comes to the grains and cereals that we eat a lot in the country. And we import over 50% of the rice we need. And rice is also labor intensive, capital intensive, and land intensive. For example, if you have a hectare of land, your average yield is 5 tons for rice. Your average yield is 5 tons for rice for a hectare of rice. If I should give you an example, if you have the same hectare of rice, you can get over 20 tons of tomatoes or pepper. And tomatoes and pepper are higher value crops than rice. So if you look at rice, it's become very important. The return on investment is not that great, and it requires a lot of resources: land, irrigation, water, and inputs. Your average acre of rice would take about 4 bags of fertilizer. So it's a lot of work. Now, what we can do to get the best out of rice is to apply industrial ecology principles in the rice value chain. In fact, not just the rice value chain, you can apply industrial ecology principles in every other value chain where, one, you try to be as efficient as possible in the production, your water use, your material use, input land use. Two, you apply the principle of consistency where the inputs that go into that system generates products and byproducts which become inputs within the same system or another system for growth. Now, on the rice husk, we can also add rice husk and other organic materials to generate energy, biogas. So if you have rice husk plus poultry manure, cow dung, even plantain stems and all those things, any form of organic material, you can mix them up for biogas generation. So there's a lot of opportunity there. I know a company, a startup in Tamale that uses rice husk to make boards like this you see on this table, and like what we've used for the partitioning behind me for furniture. And if you are producing so much, for example, if you have 3 million tons of paddy rice and about 1 million of that is going to end up as rice husk, that's 1 million tons of rice husk that we can use to make MDN walls for furniture, for construction, for ceilings, for all sorts of things. That will cut down our import bill on importing some of these things. So rice presents a very great opportunity. Going forward, the state needs to invest in or support farmers to get a lot of irrigation because rice drinks a lot of water, and also support with mechanization, land preparation and harvesting. If you have mechanized harvesting, you actually get better returns. Sometimes harvesting manually, you lose a lot of the paddy. But if you have mechanized harvesting, you reduce your post-harvest losses. Another important element are dryers. If we have dryers in the key rice production areas, rice farmers can actually dry their paddy. Once they finish drying their paddy, they can store and even wait for a better market to sell all.
The value chain from farm to market holds the backbone of Ghana's rice production. Technological advancements are boosting efficiency and profitability and offer other business opportunities.
So how do we approach that? Once you farm rice and the rice stalk grows, what you take out of that is the grain, which is the paddy rice. Now the stalk, what opportunities are there to use the rice stalk? There are 1,001 opportunities for rice stalk. Aside them being composted and to return nutrients back into the soil, you can use them for all sorts of things in the fashion industry, for mats, for a lot of different things in the fashion industry. You can use them in upholstery. You can process them and pack them in upholstery. You can use them in different forms. So we need to start thinking about how we can harvest those things. In Ghana, usually once the harvester comes to harvest, to cut and get the paddy, we usually set fire to the stalks on the farm. That's one of the easiest ways to clear them and prepare land for the next season. That also introduces a lot of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. So one of the things we can do is to strategically also get machines that can help us. We don't even need machines. We have a lot of people who need work. Once we are adding value to the rice stalk and creating a product that returns capital value, we can engage a lot of people to do that work. That's one. And then when it comes to the rice paddy itself, for every ton of rice paddy, you get about 60, let's say average 60% of actually milled rice. Then you get your rice bran and you get your rice husk. That rice husk is a problem for a lot of rice mills. So you go to a lot of the rice mills, the rice husk is packed and they either set fire to it, and the few of them who have dryers will burn the rice husk to dry the rice paddy. There's an opportunity to convert rice husk into MDF boards for furniture like this. Even the rice straw, you can use them for furniture like this. You mill them into fine powder, you add a binding agent, you compress, and become boards like this that you can use for construction. for partitioning, like dry walls and all those things. So there's an opportunity to use that. Also, the broken rice and the discolored rice, there's an opportunity to use them for animal feed, for rice wine, and for other nutritional products.
Ghana's local rice market is growing, yet misconceptions linger. What will it take for local rice to become the preferred choice on every table?
So if we have to meet our rice needs and be self-sufficient on rice, that is if we don't pivot another commodity to take away the dependence on rice, we need to grow about 2, 3, 4 million metric tons of paddy rice, which we will then mill and get maybe 2.5 million metric tons of actual rice. Then we meet our rice needs to a certain extent. So rice is very important. And I think largely we also need to accept the fact that 1 kilogram of broken rice is also the same as 1 kilogram of long grain rice. So that if we educated the populace to agree that 1 kilogram of broken rice, when you eat, is the same nutritional value and is the same stomach it will go to, 1 kilogram of long grain rice is the same nutritional value, then we, in selling our rice, we can actually mix the broken rice with the long grain rice so that we can reduce the price per kilogram of rice so that people can afford rice. What the industry does is that once we mill rice, we take the grade A, which is the full long grain rice. That's where a lot of rice investors get their returns from. So they price that higher, and that's what people want. Everybody wants to buy long grain rice. So you pay more for that long grade. The grade B sometimes is mixed with the grade A, and then the grade C, it goes to school feeding program or for animal feeding. But once we're able to mix this in a good percentage, we can then not concentrate the final retail cost of the rice on the grade A. We can spread it among these three, so people will still get the volumes at a better price, which will help the industry. So I think it's something we need to do with the industry.
Ghana's agricultural potential is vast. With your support, we can make local rice a symbol of national pride.